My name is Lindsay Mulheron Leiden. I build open-back old-time banjos. Growing up here in Brasstown, North Carolina, I grew up in an area with a lot of craft people around me. And it was just kind of a way of life, a model of life that was in this area that I was always kind of around. You know, growing up at the John C. Campbell Folk School, I took all the craft classes they have for little kids every summer from by the time I was 8. My parents are musicians. I started playing drums. And I was in a punk rock band, and we played every day, and we never even had a gig. We didn't know what a gig was, you know. I ended up getting a degree in music in classical percussion. I transferred from art school to music school. I played a lot of bluegrass, played upright bass. That was probably about the time I started rediscovering old-time music. And I was like, wait a second, that's the music that my parents play, or that's what I grew up listening to. In my string band, my banjo player was also a fiddle player, and he was asking if he could play some fiddle, you know. He gave me his banjo, and I started plunking around, and I remember my mom telling me about the bum ditty, you know, the strum, pluck. I was hooked at that point. I took a bunch of banjo building workshops, read and researched and studied, and I got a diploma in fine woodworking. I was just really being drawn towards coming home. And I asked my parents if I could build a little cabin on the land. And Dad said, well, that was the plan all along. All my uncles are engineers, so I got one of my uncles and we came up with a design. So we built it. I spent a summer living in my Volkswagen bus and making a treehouse. Sienna and I, my wife Sienna, who is a potter, we wanted to be, you know, in the woods, and we built our house up on the hill. It just made sense. It was what worked with us, and it was the lifestyle that we both liked and we both wanted to do. You know, our commute's a walk through the woods, go down the hill, and she goes to her clay studio, and I go to my woodworking studio, and I build banjos, and she makes pottery. Music, craft, and art. 3 different parts of my life that were really important to me. So the music being, you know, playing music, and then the craft being creative and working with my hands, and the art. I have an art background. I was looking for an outlet to be able to continue to do that. So I just naturally kind of spilled right into the building. So what I'm trying to do in my instruments is a really warm, full sound with clarity, without it being high-end, piercing, trebly kind of sound. And that's a kind of a tricky thing to do sometimes. Certain things like, you know, that I do personally on mine that is a little different. I do a little steeper peg head angle, different things that Mulheron Banjos have that really get that tone and that sound. You have certain elements that are very significant in changing the sound and the tone and the quality, like the head, the tone ring, the size of the pot. Then the next level is like the tailpiece, the bridge. And then there's another layer, which is like the types of wood. I have a piece of land that was in my family since 1885 or 83, and I harvested a lot of walnut and cherry from there that I use for necks. The pots primarily I use maple. I just love the sound of the maple pots. I love goatskin heads. In my opinion, there's nothing better than a tubaphone tone ring with a goatskin head. That sounds like a tune right there. As far as the colors, I use anything I can find. Acrylic, milk paint, spray paint. One of the things I really love about building banjos is you can be really creative, and it's just beautiful. It's such a cool, exciting, inspiring thing. It kind of gives me my own style. One of the things that I love about building is I get to make something for someone that they can then use to take and go out into the community and learn about being a part of a community. It's a really satisfying part of the process. There's not a real better feeling when you get into a jam and you get really dialed in or locked in with the group, and you're all like working together to create one sound. And it's a trance, you know, like you're all playing a role to do something together. It's just a really great experience.